Therapy Army, welcome to United Real Therapy. I don't know what's going on. I think we've been completely shadow banned. So there's no audience here. There's nobody to interact with. But we got Sean. Hopefully those of you will see this video tomorrow or another day. Well, tomorrow sometime. So big up to you. How you doing, Sean? How's lovely California?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's a sunny day, Got off work early on a Friday.
Where are you? Santa Barbara? Where are you? Where are you?
No, I'm in Oakland, so like the Bay Area. I guess like
Revolutionary City.
Revolutionary City, indeed. Yeah, it's the blacker side of California.
Big up Oakland.
So
big up Oakland.
Yeah, big up Oakland for sure.
Big up Oakland. Yo.
There's a lot going on, in the world of Manchester United, as is always the case. Every day, something new.
Every day, something new, man. Something new every day. Yeah. Big up to you, though. All the way there. Is it a sunny day? Is it a lovely day?
It's a sunny day. It's a lovely day. Like I said, I just got off work early on a Friday. When I'm done on this channel,
I'll
go help myself to. No, taking it easy, but do some relaxing. Yeah, exactly.
So 3:30. So 3 o'clock kickoff. What time do you have to get up for
that? So that's 7 a.m. That's 7:30, I think. If I remember correctly, this weekend's game is 7 a.m. Now it could be worse. Some games are like 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
4:30. So 12:30 kickoff.
4 a.m. Yeah, 12:30 kickoff. Yeah, exactly. 4 a.m. 4:30 kickoff. And I'm up for it. United basically. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship, You love United, but you hate what they're putting you through. But regardless, you still watch it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I like my sleep, bro. When I can sleep properly, I like my sleep. Big up, yeah, man. Big up to Jinda. Yeah, I know that. That's how you say in Punjabi. Sasri Akal. Yeah, Sasri Akal. Yeah, I got a brethren who's Punjabi heritage, and he taught me that. That's what he say hello in Punjabi. Yeah, big up. Thank you for educating us. Big up to blowing up. And yeah, I think that might be Ayanka Yawa. Yawa says Arne Slot. Arne Slot is the Liverpool manager. Yeah, is that how it is? Big up to you guys. Love and light. But yeah, Arne Slot is a new manager apparently of Liverpool, if you believe the reports.
Fabrizio said here we go, so it's probably true.
We paid about, I think, 10 million or something like that in compensation around that time. 10 million euros.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, right? Because I don't think this Arne Slot fellow has been on anybody's radar, especially for a club like United.
No, he has.
We're talking about he has.
No, to be fair, he has. Yeah, he has. Some German teams are looking at him. Spurs didn't want to pay the compensation to Feyenoord, but he was very close to joining Spurs.
It's going to be a very interesting season next year because there's the idea of bringing managers from the Dutch league, depending on how you feel about Ten Hag, has been discredited. So it's be curious to see what the narrative is around this Arne Slot fellow next season and how much grace he's given. In the context of this Liverpool squad, I would not be surprised if next year we hear narratives about how the Liverpool squad is not really good at all, and they need to sign a whole bunch of new players. But we'll see.
Well, they've got their director of football back. I think he's going to do well. That says if Klopp doesn't win the league, I think he's going to do well. He just needs to do better than Klopp because I think they've got a very talented squad. So yeah.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if next season, when obviously a new manager needs some time to settle in, because you will likely have one or two things: new manager bounce, or the manager trying to find his feet. It's unlikely you have a new manager bounce because where are you bouncing from? It's not like Klopp's last tenure ended in turmoil or in disaster. So there's really nothing to bounce from per se. But at the same time, players like Salah, a couple of those injured players that Liverpool have, or injury-prone players that they have, people like Szoboszlai, who maybe never really settled in, looked good. It's going to be interesting next year for Liverpool, honestly. But I don't expect like a continuation just from success of last season. I think there would be a teething period, and it'll just be interesting to see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, listen. I think he's a risk, but he's a totally different character to Erik ten Hag. Just from everything that I've seen from him, I've actually enjoyed. Like, he took Feyenoord to the Champions League. They played the best football Feyenoord has ever played. I got cousins who live in the Netherlands, and one of them is a Feyenoord fan, and he's absolutely raving about this guy. He's one of the best managers Feyenoord I've ever had. Yeah, big up to everybody. Love and like, man. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel. But we got something coming. We got the preview coming. We have also got to talk about
Rashford,
WILCOX. Yeah, WILCOX. We got to talk about WILCOX. Yeah. So
see, your guy Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth is taking Newcastle to arbitration. Things are happening.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting for us to get over some of those games. But tomorrow, I don't know. I might go to the game tomorrow. We'll see. I'll see how I feel. I'll see if it's pissing down and stuff like that. Look, I'm so privileged. You have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and after I go to Solidarity March for Palestine, I can just cycle to the stadium. But I'll see how it is, because honestly, Sean, you might be getting up there in the US, but when you go to the stadium and United playing shit, it's the most depressing. When you watch shit football, it's the most depressing thing for me.
Yeah, I would say that
after I've been blessed over the years, I took everything for granted. I took all the Fergie years for granted, because I'm a human, you take things for granted. And now I watch football the last 11 years, and I just think...
I feel like, though, the good thing about Old Trafford is that, like, whenever we win, the fans do seem like, like they cheer on the players. So it's hard to tell, or the impression that you get watching the match on TV is that the fans, they're trying. The fans are always behind the team. After the match, you could hear some complaints or whatever, but the fans usually are behind the team, at least during the 90 minutes, basically, that the game is going on for. So, yeah, and I think the whole thing with the legacy...
I'm one of those fans. I'm one of those fans that does that. I'm one of those fans that does that. I'm one of those fans who basically gets
right,
behind. I'm there. It's part of it. You just get it all out, Come on, you scream at the players. But some of them, I'm like, come on, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, punk. Play well today. Show me something. Earn your money. Yeah. That's what I'm usually screaming at. Big up, Leicester. How you doing, Leicester, bro? You good?
I'm all good, man. And shout out to the viewers, and shout out to Sean, and shout out to you, already.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. Big up, bro. Was it a lovely day in Southern Africa? It's winter right now, isn't it? It's winter. I forget it's winter right now, isn't it? It's a bit cold out there.
It's very cold. It's very cold right now. Yeah.
What temperature?
It's very cold. What can you say, man?
What temperature is it tonight?
Right now, I think. Okay, in Joburg, it's right now. I think it's 2 degrees. Right now, so
damn. So how long does the winter last?
I think.
Yeah, that's wild. Dude. That's cool.
No, I think there's something wrong, because now it's not supposed to start this early. But looking at it,
yes, Leso, there's something wrong. Yeah, that's climate change is happening. Yes, there is something wrong. Human activity is causing climates basically to change in negative ways. Yeah, there is something wrong for sure.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to Leicester City. Big up, Richie.
Definitely.
Richie 65.
What can you say, man?
Yeah. Big up, man. Leicester City are promoted, man. Big up to Leicester City. I got a couple of friends who are big Leicester City fans. Big up Jamie Vardy, man. Still doing it, banging them in. Still doing it. So yeah, big up Vardy. Big up Leicester City. Welcome back to the Prem. Welcome back to the Premier League. Right, guys, let's start, man. Let's start. We got Burnley. Little old Burnley. So Burnley is a derby game. It's basically the outskirts of Manchester. It's about 15 minutes away in a car and on the motorway. 20 to 15 minutes. So it's basically a derby. So Burnley fans, Burnley players, they look at this game as a derby. It's a huge derby for them. And it's little old Burnley punching above their weight to punch, to give Manchester United bloody nose. And Manchester United fans or players don't take it seriously, but I do. I really, because remember on the Jose and the Oli, I think they drew with us and they beat us twice. I think one time on the Jose and one time on the Oli. So yeah, they're no joke. They're no joke, Burnley. They've kept the manager. A lot of people, when they were getting smashed, try to play this very expansive football in the Premier League. And in the Premier League, you get found out quickly. So they've slightly altered it. They've kept with company, but they've altered the way they play. They've brought in a couple of players from different part, like one of the guy from the French league, I think Ossian, if I'm not mistaken. He's the one who scored a couple of goals against Sheffield United. And I've been looking him up. He's like a forward that became a right back recently in the last couple of years. So yeah, they've got a couple of loanees from the French league and different other leagues. They're a very interesting team because they've adapted, actually. Other than sack the manager, they've come to an understanding with the manager and basically said to him, listen here, pal, Vincent, you're going to have to play a little bit more pragmatic just so that we don't get smashed. So actually now they're playing a bit more on the counter. They've altered it. From the way the expansive football they were playing, they've slightly altered it and slightly gone a bit more defensive and a bit more defensive organization. Obviously, as they fight to survive in the Premier League for their survival. So it's going to be a very interesting game. Bumbaye, big up to you, brother. How are you doing?
Yes, good evening, Dino, Lesso, Sean. How are you, gentlemen?
Big up, mate. Yeah.
Big up yourselves. Big up everybody in the therapy army. Big up. Just a quick big up here today. I'm reinvigorated. Good news. Do you know what I mean? In this war against this murderous regime, Zionist regime called Israel, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Lebanese resistance of the south, the Houthis of Yemen, and last but not least, the Palestinian resistance that is called Hamas and the Palestinian people. These entities are actively putting themselves in harm's way to take that fight to this hegemon, this imperialist project that wants to tell everybody how to live, and they're not taking it, and they're fighting back against it. And there is a lot of light at the end of this tunnel, God willing. So big up to everybody fighting the good fight. They will do the fighting. All we have to do is just keep doing what we're doing with the protests, using social media and utilizing it to spread the word and just destroy all this lies, all this narrative, all this propaganda bullshit, all this World War II Hitlerite type tactics that they're using now. That has to stop. Other than that, evening everybody. And let's crack on, man. Let's crack on. Let's see what we've got tonight for this preview after a wonderful, wonderful Man United performance. Looks like we're back.
I agree with most things you said. But
Killed it at the end, yeah.
Anybody in the world, listen, anybody fighting against colonization and imperialism, solidarity.
Big up to you, man. I salute you, honestly.
Because they're always the biggest crimes, you know.
So if you don't fight today, it's gonna be you tomorrow. Get that in your head.
Yeah, in terms of like, you know, people resisting against colonization, occupation, imperialism, yeah, and capitalist greed, man. The level of greed from the weapon the industrial military complex, man. That's why the world is fucked. The world where it is, because people literally make money off killing, blowing up human flesh and human babies and all sorts of humans, fathers, mothers, grandmothers. And that's what we see at this moment in time, man. Yeah,
our club is symptomatic. Our club is symptomatic of that greed that you speak of.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, free Sudan, free the Congo, free Tigray, free Ogaden, free wherever anybody's oppressed in this world. We always stand against the oppressors and stand with the oppressed. We stand with the oppressed and against the oppressors, always. So big up, love and light, well, welcome. Manchester United versus Burnley. I explained a little bit in my first intro just to say that this is a derby for Burnley. It's a huge game for Burnley fans and for Burnley players. Burnley's not that far from Manchester. Some people just say it just misses out on the greater Manchester region. So yeah, it's going to be a tasty game tomorrow in terms of, because they've adapted. Big up to Vincent Kompany, big up to Burnley for not sacking him, sticking with him, and adapting as a football club to a little bit the way they want to play and getting in a couple of like loanees in January and everything else. So yeah, I'm expecting a tough game tomorrow. I'm expecting a tough game, people. I'm not expecting an easy game. They're definitely going to make chances. They've tightened up a little bit at the back, and they're definitely full of goals. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Big up to you, Jarvis. How you doing, Jarvis? You well?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to be on the show again, and a lot of good people on the panel, and a lot of good people in the chat. I see Lucky Singh and ST and Rico and Steve Koppel, a lot of good guys. So, but people, remember to hit the like and share on Twitter if you can, because no one gets a notification. Even I, who is on the show, I never get a notification for the show. It's obviously shadow banned. So please help out.
Big up to you, bro. Big up to you. Big up to everybody. Love and light. Let's go, people. Let's go. So we got Burnley tomorrow. Let me just go. Marcus Rashford and Willie Kombala unlikely to be fit. While the defender Rafael Varane, Luke Shaw, Johnny Evans, Tyrell Malacia, Victor Lindelof, Sandro Martinez remain out. Burnley have Layla Foster available after recovering a knock sustained last week. Luca Colosio is not ready to return after a knee injury. Match facts: Manchester United only defeat in the past 16 Premier League meetings was by 2-0 at Old Trafford in January 2022. I think I was there that night. United have scored exactly 3 goals in all 4 of their home victories against Burnley. Manchester United have lost just 1 of their past 7 home league games, drawing 12. Winning 4, drawing 2. 2-1 defeat by Fulham in February. The Red Devils have conceded 76 goals in all competition, their most in any campaign for 45 years. Bruno Fernandes have 7 goals in his past 7 league appearances, scoring in each of his last 4. Rasmus Højlund midweek strike against Sheffield United ended a run of 6 games without a goal in all competition. Burnley's only defeat in 7 league matches was 1-0 at Everton start of April, 1-2 drawn 4. The Clarets are aiming to win back-to-back Premier League games away for the first time since 2021. Vincent Kompany side are without clean sheet in their past 16 league outings. They've conceded 69 Premier League goals this season. They're second only most behind only 2009-10 when they let in 82 goals. Jacob Brum Larsen has scored 4 of Burnley's 5 league wins in this campaign. So there we go. And they currently sit second from bottom with 34 points, minus 32 goals, 23 points. So that's where we're at, guys. This is where Burnley's
it's
at.
the Premier League, right?
First, let's go.
Oh, I was just saying that, like, it's the Premier League, right?
Go ahead,
so
John.
I'll start first.
Yeah, Premier League.
Yeah, it's Premier League, right? So no game is easy. But we have to win, right? There's no story, there's no excuse, there's no permutation or combination that we want to put forward. We have to win. 3 points, like, except your Man City, there's no easy game in the Premier League for anybody. But the expectation is that we win, and I would also add that we win comfortably, even though that might be too much to ask currently. We have to win. Sorry, go ahead, Lester. Sorry to cut you off.
All right. No, not a problem. We definitely, like Sean said, we definitely are doing this game. It's gonna be tough, of course. There's no easy game for the rest of us, unless you're Man City, But I mean, they also have their own fair share of injuries. You talk about Jordan Beyer, Aaron Ramsey, Nathan Redmond. They're all out. So they also, let's not forget that they won against Sheffield last weekend. They won 4-1. So um, it's definitely not gonna be as easy as we think it's gonna be. But Man United should win. There's no excuses. I mean, they said Kambuala is back, right? Apparently, and as well as Rashford will be fit for the game. So, I'm not trying to hear any more excuses about injuries and whatnot. Every team has suffered from injuries. So we should be getting a 3 points. But I think it's going to be a game, like I say, we're going to score goals. Man United still finds a way to score goals as much as they concede. So the scoring part is not a problem with us. It's just the defending and letting a lot of shots, per game. That's the only problem that we need to solve. And secondly, I just hope. Apparently Mason Mount may be making a return as well. So, into the squad, he's the only one who's probably making the return from the injury list for the game. So let's see what Tanakh goes with. I'm hoping that he does go with. He starts someone like Amad Diallo. It's time to give people a chance, man. At some point we can't just be doing repetition and just putting the same team over and over again and hoping for an improved sort of display. We need to, he needs to utilize his squad now. There's players who are burning and who want to be given a chance, and this is the right time for him to do so if he wants to actually stay in this job for one more year. Because if you don't utilize your squad, then people are just gonna rate you for people that you've picked, and that's essentially what we've been saying, that he needs to utilize his squad, and I'm hopeful that he does utilize his squad against Burnley. I'm hoping that we do control position. We should be controlling. We should have more position against Burnley. They are more open as well, which actually does fit well with us because we don't really do well with low block teams. So as we said, they've conceded a lot of goals themselves this season. So I'm expecting goals from us. It's gonna be a close game as usual because we can't defend ourselves to save our lives. So hopefully he does go with more or less, a bit of a change with Amad Diallo on the right, keeps Garnacho on the left, and then plays with Højlund up front. And then in midfield, it's self-explanatory. Bruno, Casemiro, as well as Kobe Mainoo. And at the back, he goes obviously with because since Luke Shaw is not back, we don't have a reliable left back there. He may still play with Arambe Wan-Bissaka at left back, and then play with Diego Delo at right back, and then we may go with a partnership of Kambuala and Harry Maguire, because I don't want Casemiro playing too many games at centre back. If in case he doesn't want to rush Kambuala in, he can always pick Maguire. I mean, not Maguire, McTominay, because McTominay has played in that position for Scotland. So it's only rightfully so that he can use McTominay as a centre back pairing with Maguire instead. That can also work. And then in the second half, he can try and bring Kambuala in. And then the goalkeeping side, Onana. It's self-explanatory because he's never gonna bench him. He's never gonna bench him, so we know he's gonna go with that. But yeah.
Big up, man. Big up. Big up. Hopefully Sean will join us. Jarvis, what do you think about tomorrow? What are you thinking tomorrow? Big game for Manchester United. In terms of
it's a big game.
It's a big game because we'll try to get back-to-back wins after not winning in 7. You know what I mean? Before that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
do you know what I mean?
Like fighting for Europa League or Conference League or nothing. That's.
I think we deserve. I think these dickhead players deserve Conference League. The manager deserves. All these muppets they're embarrassed to play in the Conference League.
Every Thursday to Kazakhstan, and no offense.
Yeah.
It's not the most.
Yeah, they deserve it. They deserve it, man. That's a punishment. That's a punishment. They deserve it. But go ahead. What do you think? Well, it's a big game because the Manchester United are on the bounce. We're back, Jarvis. Did you not realise we're back after 4-2 win against the mighty Sheffield United? And now we've gone up one position. We're gonna fight against the second to bottom in the Premier League.
Yeah, it will be a tough challenge for these guys. You know, we always struggle against the lower leagues or in the bottom of the table teams. We have no set play. You know, not set plays, but we have no structure in our play. That's our biggest problems. Last game we tried we tried the possession thing, but we don't know how to do it. We don't have the tempo and we don't have the movement to do that type of game. And we always struggle because we have a lot of specialist players in a way who's limited in their special role, like Rashford, like McTominay. But all the other teams around, the better teams, Manchester City, Liverpool, they have a lot of all-rounders who can fill different roles and tasks in a good way. And this is kind of Ten Hag's limitations because he wants to try the modern style of football. You know, now it's all about midfielders moving all around because they run much more than they used to do. Like in the 90s, every team played 4-4-2. There were two central midfielders until Mourinho came in and tried the three-man midfield and started to winning the central area. Now we have players like the coaches like Motta, you know, the guy from Bologna in Italy. He plays like a 2-7-2 formation. It's insane now. Everybody's all about midfielder, all-rounders who can fill every role, but we don't have any of those. That's our biggest problems. So for me, I don't see how we actually, because Burnley, you know, Company is trying to play pass to feet, possession-based, keep hold of the ball. He has some good players. I like the Norwegian Sander Berge. He's a fantastic player, but he's unluckily for him, he's injury prone. So he don't get a constant run of games. He's always injured, and that is problem. But he's been playing now, I would say the last 10 games, and Burnley are actually doing well because he's a massive DM. He has pace and he's big. He tackles and he has a lot of recoveries. He's in the top 85-90% in the Premier League of tackles and recoveries for defensive midfielders in the Premier League. So he's actually doing a quite good job, and he's the one I would look out for. So we need to figure out how to get past him in a way centrally. You know,
we don't play through centrally, Jarvis. We like to just hoop it. We like to hoop it and go chase. You know what I mean? As we know, actually, the right back who I was saying to people before, he recently he's the one that I watched. I watched their game against Sheffield United, actually. And he's on loan from a team in France. I forgot the team, which team. But he's like a couple of years ago, he was a striker. He was a forward. Assignon, He was a striker. And then now, I remember the commentator saying, from Rennes. The commentator saying, fullback now turned, you know what I mean, striker turned fullback, right back. And he's very good at attacking and very good at taking on people and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's true. But the thing is now you see, for example, Manchester City, the what you call it, the evolution of football now is about centrally. And you see Manchester City with Pep, he plays with almost exclusively centre backs who fill in like midfielders. Centrally, not fullbacks as they used to.
It's about it's basically the way to dominate midfield. You have to outnumber the opposition's midfield.
Yeah, it's all about the box midfield.
Exactly, you have to outnumber.
If you have three midfielders and you have one box. If you have a fullback coming in, a centre back coming in, a winger coming in, or a dropping false number 9. So it's always about the box midfield.
You have to have more players and more players who are good at receiving the ball and taking the ball. So you then can dominate the midfield. You have to have that. You have to have people who can come in there. You know, I'll never forget in the Champions League in certain games, like Pep Guardiola, even away where teams that they were playing against, Barcelona. If you look at Pep's Barcelona team, away from home, a lot of the teams, especially from Eastern Europe or different parts of Europe, used to try to match Xavi, Iniesta, and I forgot the other guy.
Busquets.
And they would try to overnumber them and outpower them. And they would get some joy. They would get some joy because they had more. They would have the two wingers coming in wide players coming in on a number 10 dropping into midfield and outnumbering.
Yeah.
Arsenal do it quite well, actually. You look at Arsenal. So at the moment, Arsenal, they've got the three, obviously, when they play with Jorginho, Rice, and they've got Altogether. But what they do is they even have the striker stroke, Havertz drops in, wins a lot of balls, tackles a lot, links the play in midfield quite a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Now the inverted fullback is almost like 2 years ago. It's old news.
Exactly.
Now the evolution has changed. It's about now I see our biggest problem at the moment, I feel, is we don't have patience in our play. We don't wait out the opposition, and we don't have patience to build up ourselves. And a big part of that is Bruno. He's a big problem in our, like, we're rushing it all the time in both ways, when we press and when we build up. So in a way, tomorrow I would like to see more patience, maybe put Bruno in a little bit deeper role. We lack a couple of central midfielders, so maybe I would like to see a midfield of Bruno and Mainu play together, and maybe Ahmad in the number 10. So we have some ball players to give the ball to, and he can hold up the ball in a way. So maybe that will be, and patience in a play, because Burnley, they try to play possession, but we know they lack in quality, so they will make mistakes. And if we just wait them out, we can intercept the ball and have some medium to high turnovers and create chances that way. So there is chances tomorrow, because Burnley isn't all that, even though they have just lost one game in the last 7 games. I didn't know that before today, but it's actually a little bit impressive.
Yeah. Big up. Bombay, what are you reckoning about tomorrow? What are we doing against second from bottom at Old Trafford at home? Recently, I think they played for a couple of draws. They've tightened up a little bit. They've tried to survive in the Premier League, which is difficult. But they didn't sack Company. They stuck with him. They still play good football. They know how to play it from the back. But I think they're playing on a counter a little bit more, getting the ball forward quicker a little bit more. They changed slightly from what they were in the start of the season. Even though I thought at the start of the beginning of the season, they absolutely dominated us. And I thought we robbed them. But Bruno scored a wonderful goal on that day. Brilliant ball by Johnny Evans. And Bruno just volleyed it into the bottom corner.
At this stage in the season, you reap what you sow, unfortunately. All we have to play for now, fourth is mathematically an impossibility, forget it. The best we can finish this season is 6th, but we may end up finishing lower. But what we are trying to do is finish strong, get these points, very winnable points, and hopefully go into an FA Cup final with a bit of a bounce. And that is the reality of the season. So there's not a lot to play for in terms of the league. It's just about finishing strong. But what holds a lot more weight is Burnley's situation. They are a wounded animal, and a wounded animal is very, very dangerous. They're fighting for their lives, basically. They're on 23 points. And we've got 4 teams fighting. One of them is going to escape. I think Everton are too far ahead. They're on 33 points in 16th. Then it's Forest on 26 points. So that's a 7-point difference. So I think Everton is safe. And then if Burnley can beat us, they could be 1 result away from survival with 4 games left to go. So this is a monumental game for them tomorrow. And they will have been looking at Manchester United. The last time they played us, they outplayed us. As you say, Bruno scored a great goal. And we have to understand what I'm trying to say. The players have to realize that if they're interested in winning this game, to be honest with you, because like I said, there isn't anything to play for. There is your own personal, going into next season, your own personal performance to play for, finish on a bounce. But Burnley have got something very substantive to play for. And that changes the dynamic of this game. On paper, again, we have better players. We have better quality. But Vincent Kompany is, unfortunately, he's instilled a very good style of play. They're actually nice to watch. They play good football. They commit men, they go for it. But they just don't have a killer that is putting the ball in the back of the net. And they can see too many goals, which is usually the problem with teams that play sexy football towards the bottom end of the league. Everything in the middle is great, but where it counts, they fall short in terms of ball in the back of the net and not letting it go into their net. So tomorrow, really, yes, you should be going hopefully and winning that game. Whether it'd be nice to win in style. That's all I could ask for. Bit of style, bit of swagger. I'd like to see Amad Diallo start. And I'm desperate to see Mason Mount have a few games under his belt. That's been the tragedy of the season for me. It really has, because I was a big proponent of that signing, but I still can't judge it because I can't judge it. I can't tell you, is it a good one? Is it a bad one? And that is a major disappointment that Erik ten Hag, he got his man. He really liked him. It's the second time he tried to sign him. So I'd love to see him get some minutes. And other than that, really, just go and do the job, boys. But go out there and understand you are in a proper game tomorrow. Like I say, they're fighting for their lives. And it's very realistic that they can get out. Nottingham Forest, one result, they're dragged into the relegation fight. Sheffield United, forget it. 16 points, they're gone. They're finished. Burnley lose tomorrow, their season's done as well. Especially if Luton win, they will effectively be 5 points ahead. And if Forest win, they're 6 points ahead with only 3 games remaining. So tomorrow is a World Cup final for them. It really is. And if they can win it, they give themselves every opportunity to, fight for that one spot. That is really there up for grabs for them. So be careful. And it will be an interesting one. Let's see. It all depends on what kind of Man United are going to turn up tomorrow. But please don't go in thinking you've got 3 points because they're second bottom. That's actually the wrong thing to do in this game. Exactly the wrong thing because of the situation.
Big up. Oh, you're on mute.
Go ahead, Sean. Tomorrow, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what Bumaye is saying, except that, honestly, like, I mean, the relegation angle makes it interesting, right? But I feel like we should just have too much quality for Burnley. So regardless of the combination that who plays where and what player plays, like, I just feel like we should have too much quality. And absent a madness, right? Absent one of the Onana classics or Wan-Bissaka forgetting who is behind him, or just a calamity, basically. Absent one of those calamities, I really don't see why we shouldn't walk away from tomorrow with 3 points in the bag. It's at Old Trafford. I expect us to have to dominate the ball in terms of possession. I expect us to be in control most of the time. And unless these players, from my perspective, unless these players like decide that, we're done with the season, I really don't see why we shouldn't walk away from this game, with 3 points. Obviously, the players shouldn't think that way. They should go into the game honestly with giving it 100% of their efforts and all of that. But from a fan's perspective, like, I would be extremely disappointed. Like, I would not accept the story of relegation or whatever as an excuse or as context for why we didn't win the game. Like, so not just a draw. I expect us to win, like, get 3 points from this game because we're a better team with better players and in just more experienced players, more experienced set of players, more experienced team. It's at Old Trafford. The fans will be behind the team. Like, why not? Right? We should comfortably, wipe our hands with a comfortable 1-0, 2-0 victory. I think you mentioned the stat that Burnley haven't scored that many goals or that they always concede, meaning that we're going to get a chance, right? So if we lose the game tomorrow, I think it would be because of a calamity. Like, the players conceded early, confidence left, mistakes, like the Onana mistake, the pass to the Sheffield striker, something along those lines would be why we lose the game. But other than that, yeah, I'm really not giving Burnley as much credit as everybody else seems to, because, like, I think their position reflects what they've done this season, and we should win. Like, we should win this game, full stop. No, story, no, excuses, no context required. We should win tomorrow, point blank, period.
Interesting, yeah. All right, big up. I'll stay with you actually, Sean. What score do you reckon tomorrow?
Yes, I'm saying I think, I mean, obviously we can't keep a clean sheet for love or money, so they will probably score, but 2-1, 3-1, something along those lines. A 2-goal difference, similar to the game with Sheffield.
Okay, go ahead, Bumbaye. What do you think the score's going to be tomorrow? Go ahead, Jarvis. What do you think the score's going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, I said on the mixed channel earlier this night, I said 5-3 to United. I think it will be a lot of goals when it comes to United, but I don't know. You never know who's gonna show up when United play, and that's the biggest problems. When Sean mentioned that the players still have a lot to fight for, and he would be surprised if they don't show up. I would be surprised if they do, in a way, because these players never seem to stop disappointing in a way. And I've seen this movie before. We saw it on the Ragnick. When they don't have more to play for, they don't give a F. Now they're just waiting, and they will try to keep injury free and in form for the FA Cup final, because that's the only thing that's in their mind, I believe.
Bumbaye.
Yeah,
what do you think the score's going to be tomorrow? What do you think the score's going to be tomorrow?
3-1 United.
Okay. All right, let's go. Score tomorrow.
I think it's gonna be. There will be goals. I agree with. That there's gonna be a lot of goals. Yeah, with Jarvis. Sorry. I do agree with Jarvis that there's gonna be a lot of goals. You look at Burnley. They do play a 4-4-2 consistently. In every game that they have played, they have a 4-4-2 formation, so they will go for this game. Trust in me, they will be trying to score as many goals as they can, because they know we concede a lot of shots anyways per game. So they will definitely try and test us. So I can see us conceding quite a few, so we're gonna be forced to score. We're gonna be forced to outscore them, basically. So it could be 4-2. It could be 5-3, could be something of the crazy 3-2, 4-3, you name it. So that's more or less what I'm going for. I can't pick a specific scoreline, because with us, man, it is what it is. So I'm not gonna go further into that. But yeah.
Big up. Let's go in the chat, people. What do you think the score's gonna be? It'll be a high score. Yeah, I agree with the majority of the panel, but I think Burnley will score as well. Yeah, and goals, goals change games. Goals can swing games, so it's going to be very interesting. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. No effing way. I'll be shocked if we did. I'd be really shocked if we did. But let's go into it. So apparently WILCOX has been having more conversations with Erik ten Hag. I have it on decent source in a Manchester kind of rumor news, that WILCOX is dictating already what the style of play that Erik ten Hag has to play. He has to be more possession-based, a bit more control, and it's got to be that. And apparently Erik ten Hag, if you want to read to the newspapers, is on trial till the end of the season. So these 6 games, or including the FA Cup, should be where he is basically dressed like almost kind of fighting for his job. I don't know how much of it some of you believe it, but if that WILCOX is dictating the style of play, what does that mean for Erik ten Hag, and what does that mean for the next manager? Because the question that was asked to Jim the Ratcliffe was that he was asked, would you play in terms of like, who's going to dictate the style that you play? And he said, we will do as a club. So I'll go to Sean first. Sean, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Even Jim the Ratcliffe, Ineos, WILCOX apparently is dictating play in terms of giving the direction to the coach. which now Erik ten Hag is de facto a coach. He's no longer manager now that we're getting a football structure, apparently. Where do you stand with that?
I mean, I feel like that should be music to our ears, right? As United fans, many fans have said that they wanted a top-down, football system where all the facets of the club, the under 18s, under 21s, the first team, they're all playing the same style of football. It helps with transfer policy. It helps with organizing the club. It helps to have a consistent structure, right? Part of what Ralph Ragnick was saying when he gave his open heart surgery analysis was that we needed to have a top-down, consistently determined style of play. So I think this should be music to everybody's ears. Like, in terms of what we want ideally as a structure for the club going forward, it should mean that we will no longer be spending 60 million on players like Casemiro or signing, Christian Eriksen or Johnny Evans, because everybody we're signing right now would be tailor-made to suit a specific style of play. So this is exactly what we want to hear as United fans, I think. And, the proof will be in the pudding, the implementation. But as a recommendation or suggestion, I'm happy with it 100%. I think this is exactly what we want.
Okay, interesting. Go ahead, Bombaye. WILCOX at the wheel. WILCOX at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? Go ahead, Bombaye. Tell me. WILCOX is at the bloody wheel. Remember him? Me actually, Bombaye.
Yeah, we watched him.
Jarvis, we remember him actually. He had a very unique running style. He used to be a little bit hunched over, quite nifty left-footed winger. He used to run like that, sideways a bit. But we could put a ball in. He could put a ball in. He got a decent left peg, didn't he? He used to play for Blackburn. Go ahead.
Well, if they're gonna, as a club, like Ranick said, look, as a club, everybody's got to be happy with the plan that the package you want to put forward for the pitch. It's got to hit some key notes. We need to be entertained and we need results. That's the mandate at Man United. You can't just play shit and win, and you can't play good and not win. Have to do both at a certain point, and if you don't, you're getting sacked. If WILCOX has got a plan, hopefully, and Erik ten Hag is on board with that plan. Ranick said, first you identify what you want to do, and then you get the players in order to make it a reality. So if you have a plan, I hope you go and start to find them players that fit into that plan. And I hope if Erik ten Hag is here, or whoever is here, you know what I mean, he buys into that as well, and everybody's singing from the same sheet, and they start to put it into practice. We can't know, what is that football that you want to play for us? What is the style? Do you want a gegenpress? Do you want a, possession to death? Do you want a transition? Whatever it is, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But fine, because what we've got now is a pile of shit. So if you want to bring something different, and Erik ten Hag you feel is the right man to do it, and you want to give it a go, you want to give him a chance, like I said, I've told you my position on Erik in terms of a third season. But if the dawn of the new season is upon us and Erik ten Hag is our manager, he will have my full backing and support until he loses it. I'll give him an A. You can start on an A, no, now you can lose that A. I'm not going to be get him out after one game or shit like that, but he's not going to get a long time. If this is like this next season for like 3 months, first 10 games, then I'm going to start saying it's time to get him off. I'm not having that. You better, use the preseason, see what you sign, and I want to see things quicker. This year, I was patient, man. I was expecting, like I said at the beginning of the year, I said, you know what, first 3 months, let's see, we're going to develop our play, but we didn't develop anything. You've seen the season for yourselves. But next season, it will be that. Even if I forget what I'm saying now, I know my feelings will show a lot quicker, because this season is a continuation of last season. That's what it became. Because last season, everybody was all right. Yeah, it's fine what you did. No worries. We understand it's your first year. And we were expecting to move forward, to play a nice brand of football. But we haven't had that at all. So This season will be very quickly forgotten if within those 10 games, a third of a season, let's say, or 25, 30% of the season, we're starting to see progression, change, something different, something that has got our interest peaking. But if we don't, I feel that the heat will very, very quickly start to rise on Erik ten Hag and the club, because rather than forget this season and the one previous, it will be a major culmination. That's what it'll turn into. So I can't say much about it, but Jason Wilcox is a good guy. He's got a great reputation. I mean, he was at City, he did a good job. Southampton, he did a good job. And now he's here with us. So good to have him. And I look forward to this new plan, because it's hopefully a change from what we've been seeing.
Okay. Well, for me, it's the other way around. For me, you have to earn my trust. You have to see what you do. I don't give a fuck what you did at Man City, Southampton. I don't give a fuck what you did any other football club. You have to prove it at Manchester United for me. And while the Glazers still own 47%, I don't. They have to get my trust. I'm wait and see FC chairman. I'm the director. I'm the president of Wait and See FC. Throw it over to you, Jarvis.
Yeah. Thinking of Wilcox, people talk. You mentioned, Nuruddin, that he in a way like pressured Ten Hag to play more possession based. When you think of it like logically, when he comes in as now I don't know, he operates as a sporting director in a way or something like that. He will talk to Ten Hag and say to him, now it's time for you to play the way you want to play, because I need to see the clear deficiencies in our squad in the last 5 to 6 games to understand where we should buy players for the next season. Because you have to think ahead, this season is gone. So if I was Wilcox, this would have been my approach. And this is what I think. He tells Ten Hag, now it's time to step it up. I don't care if you lose, if you win, but we have to see, can Bruno function as a good number 8 and distribute the passes and have the patience to play and not pressure us to, for example, force the attack all the time and force balls in behind and keeping it chaotic, for example. If I was Wilson, I would have wanted to see that. So in a way, I think he has not a direct approach as we read in the media. I think he just have a conversation with Ten Hag, and they together figure out what to do and how to improve for next season, because next season has already begun in their head, I believe, besides the FA Cup final. When it comes to possession, possession is now it's more about purpose. The days of tiki-taka is long gone. It's not about just passing the ball right, left, and center. It's about passing the ball with a purpose. If to receive pressure, to open up space, to move the opposition from side to side and move them out of position and create openings and opportunities. So you have to be really good to like manage the possession-based style. And we know, it can't be done with players like, for example, McTominay. You forget about it. He can't play as a possession system. The only way I can see McTominay now is now in the modern football. You have they used to have the false 9, but now in football this season, now you see the new thing. That's the 8.5, the Havertz role or the Alvarez role, or even Gakpo in Liverpool. And McTominay has been playing this 8.5 role. He operates in the same spaces, but he doesn't have the abilities as Alvarez and Havertz when it comes to technical abilities and the spatial awareness and the vision to see spaces to give those passes. So in a way, there's a lot of things, and I think Wilcox now works really hard to figure out where to go and how to do this, and he and Ten Hag needs to cooperate, and he will see now, can it be done? Can't it be done? Okay, if it can't be done, maybe we need another manager who can get the best out of these players, or we have to get rid of the players. So this is what I think.
A big up. So Wilcox is at the wheel. Tell me, how good does it feel? It don't feel shit to me at this moment in time, because you have to gain my trust. You know what I mean? You have to gain my trust. You have to prove it at Manchester United. And like I said, I'm very skeptical. very skeptical because Glazers still own 47% of the possession of what's going on. And when you hire people, even if they're experts in their field, you have to equip them with enough power and have to equip them with enough resources for them to make major changes. Now, the most interesting thing I'm going to be looking at is if Glazonomics is no longer at the wheel, because it's been at the wheel for a long time since the Glazers took over. So for me, I'm judging Jason Wilcox, not all what he buys. It's easy to, I can sign players, less so me and you could sign players tomorrow. Or we have to get a couple of agents' numbers and we can sign. But it's about who you taking out, what people who are to the style of football that he wants to play, that wants to play at Manchester United, the way they want to play. Who is detrimental to that in the current squad and the current team right now? Who that needs to be taken out? So for me, I am not twerking. I am not, I ain't getting on the strip bar yet. That bar. I ain't, sliding. Well, yeah. Maybe I should stop myself before I say get myself in trouble. But just put it this way: I ain't twerking for shit. I ain't part of the cult yet. The Ineos 25% sexuals. I'm not. I'm that toxic positive FC. So
I mean, wait to tell on yourself that you've never been to a strip club.
I haven't. To be fair, I genuinely have not. Yeah. But my friend used to DJ at one years ago.
You liar.
And he picked me up. I think he picked me up. He would come and sometimes say come because I would work in a club and then I would come and meet him after he was done. But yeah, to be fair, I genuinely, I don't think I've been. Maybe I might have done it once. I think if I look back now, maybe once. Yeah, but apparently in America, there's one in every corner. They're like fucking corner shops. Yeah.
Yeah, they have great buffets at lunch. Lunchtime buffet, $5 all you can eat at the strip club. Oh.
Yo, Sean knows that. Sean. No, but guys, on the real, judging by everything, and especially with WILCOX since he has come in, I mean that's the role of the technical director. I mean, per se, to say, this is what we need to do. This is the style of play we're implementing and we're expecting. But I feel like they literally threw him under the bus with this whole thing. You can't demand a style of play, towards the end of the season. The season is done, bro. I feel like it's a way just to let him know that we don't want you here. It's a hint for them to tell him that we know you can't do it. I mean, if you're saying that there's only like 7 games or less left, and we're saying we want this style of play implemented within those 7 games, that's literally saying, we don't want you here. You have been doing what we didn't want you to be doing anyways. This is what we're looking for. This is the type of manager we want to be dealing with, because now the thing is, now Tanakh has to become a whole new different person now from the past 2 seasons. He has to all of a sudden just ignore the fact that he's not going to be in control of transfers. He's not going to be in control of the style of play. The style of play that he wanted to implement and he was resigned to implementing, as far from a position-based side, if we remember this correctly. So it's a whole new U-turn altogether. So for me personally, they just let him know softly that we don't want you here, but you can stay if you want to stay, but you're not gonna get our full backing in terms of staying. We're still gonna treat you as that you're on trial. They possibly have their own people that they want to that they would like to come in. That's what I'm reading from all of this, because now if you really wanted this guy to stay or beyond even the season, you would have announced it already and said that no, this guy will be here next season. This is what we're doing. This is our plan. This is our long-term plan. That's it. That would have been announced a long time ago, because now we're going into the last few games of the season where we're virtually playing for absolutely nothing. We have the FA Cup. That's the only thing that's left. but we still have no clarification as to on the managerial position. So for me, that tells me one thing and one thing only, that they're trying to force this guy to walk out, and it's not a good environment to create. At the same time, I can understand why they're trying to do it, but we need some clarification as to what what Ineos is trying to do, because it could sadly backfire if everything just doesn't go their way. We still have the whole sporting director situation still not sorted out. With Newcastle, there's a word that Ashworth is actually going to take these guys to court in terms of trying to let them go. In a way, they should be trying to let him go to Man United without any problems. So there's a lot that has to be sorted. Ineos are just all over the place at the moment in terms of that last managerial, in terms of the managerial position and in terms of the sporting director position. So
yeah, but listen, like
it's far
regards to
from
the manager thing, right? Like, just to jump in and maybe push back a bit on kind of what you're saying. They don't need to announce anything about the manager because Ten Hag is still under contract for another year. So the only thing that announcing that we're behind this guy would do is let us know for a fact that they're definitely going to sack him in because that's the case of death. Once the ownership comes and says, "Oh, we're actually behind this guy," usually within a month or two he gets sacked. It makes sense from Ineos's perspective to treat Ten Hag like he's under a temporary, what they call that thing, your first 6 months at a job, where you have to prove yourself, probation. It makes sense for them to treat him like that because they're trying to set the standard that the failure we've seen so far is unacceptable, and we expect more from the team. I don't believe that story that WILCOX told Ten Hag that he had to play possession football for that game. That doesn't really make sense to me. It makes sense that WILCOX wants to observe training in person. He wants to observe how Ten Hag is. I think they're trying to identify where the problem is. I think Jarvis was saying something about this before. Is the problem with the manager? Is it with the players? Is it with the training methods? Is it all the above? Is it one of the above? And depending on the answer to that question, they then have to also figure out which do we attack first, right? Because they have to recognize the limitations around what they can reasonably achieve within a short period of time. So which do we do first? Do we keep building the house while we let this manager finish his contract and don't renew it? Do we sack him and pay him out of his contract and then pay for another manager in the meantime? So it's, to me, seems perfectly normal what Ineos is doing right now, assessing the landscape, getting somebody to actually observe the training and figure out where the problem is. Because if you ask Ten Hag, if you let Ten Hag tell it, there are many things that have caused his team to not perform the way that they would like to perform, the way that he would have liked them to perform this season. And I'm pretty sure that Ineos is a little bit receptive to that, based on everything we've heard from Sir Jim and the fact that Ten Hag still has a job right now. So it's perfectly reasonable, I think, from my perspective, for Ineos to want to just keep observe the training sessions in person. Look at Rashford. How do these guys act? McTominay, Maguire, all these people start working on the contracts. Who are we keeping next year? Who are we letting go of? It seems to me like things are progressing, I would say, in a very organized, very structured manner, in keeping with what you would expect from Ineos based on everything that they've said. So they're fixing the structure up above. They're sending the right messages to the squad and to the players. They are putting this manager on probation and the players on probation to assess where the root of the problems really are. And they're taking their time to do it so that they don't rush to conclusions. Sounds reasonable to me.
But you see, the way I look at it as well, I do agree with some of the points that you say. It could be that reason. But another reason you can also look at it is that these guys, if you look at how they're moving, the Ten Hag, you talk about the likes of Benny McCarthy and all these other guys. They're already rumored out of the club. There's rumors that they're leaving. because there's no contract extensions being mentioned whatsoever, and these guys' contracts are ending this season, not at the season that Ten Hag's contracts is ending. His backroom staff is literally out of a job this season, at the end of this season. So for me, that already is an indication as to where these guys are going. For me, how I've seen
No,
them.
but who signed Benny McCarthy? Ten Hag or the club? My understanding is that Ten Hag was brought as
Ten
an
Hag was,
attacking coach or something like that. Sorry, Benny McCarthy.
Ten Hag recommended him. Yeah, Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I mention this? Ten Hag recommended him for the job, and that's how he was brought to Man United. And secondly, you talk about the likes of John Murtock. You do know that John Murtock was not sacked and was just told to leave. He was told that, no, okay, you're off this position, but there's another position within the club that you can occupy. And he took that as insult. So in a way, the way they've been moving, I would say it's very different from what the Glazers have been doing. You can see how they're trying to face people out. They're not kicking them directly out. It's indirect. They're trying to force you to walk, because when you walk, when you resign, you forfeit in a way. You forfeit your severance package. So that's why there's been news about Ten Hag saying, apparently Ten Hag willing to walk if if he does not have any clarification as to why. I mean, whether if he should be in the job or he's not in the job. If he does not hear anything from Man United saying that he should be leaving. So personally, that's why I'm saying that that's how they're moving. Don't be surprised if one of you see people walking from this job, because that's the strategy of Ineos, because they're trying to save money. So they're not trying to pay someone off for leaving. They're going on about this in a different way, per se. That's what I'm saying. So,
well, it'd be interesting to see what happens in the summer. But I'm definitely pessimistic. I'm not getting carried away by any means necessary. Listen, I'm gonna stay with you, Les. So Rashford, criticism of any player during the matches, their performances in matches, criticism of footballers, 100%. Personally abusing him, and apparently the reason why he came out last night, because people have been DMing him and on different social media accounts and sending him abuse, but we're against abuse. I don't know these people personally. You know what I mean? I don't know them personally. This is just strictly football. And since the beginning of football, players have been criticized. Abuse is another thing. I try, now and again as fans, we lose our temper. We F them blind and say, get the F out of the football club. But to me, I don't think that's abuse. I think abuse is when you go in on somebody of their character and you question their character. You don't even know them. But criticism when he's not running, when he's not looks like he's interested in things, 100%. But abuse is something we're against. I think nobody really deserves to get abused. Go ahead, unless you're murdering people. They need to get fucking abuse. Go ahead.
Very true. Very true. I do agree. We should not be going into people's DMs and trying to, disrupt their lives, their personal lives. We don't know them. We don't live with them. We don't know them as a person, what their character is and everything else. We can only assess that from a pitch perspective. So I think we should keep things football. If you're not good enough on the pitch, we say it as it is, because we're seeing that week in, week out, and that's where it needs to stay. Let's not go that far, where we're going into people's personal lives and we're trying to disrupt it even further. We don't know what people are going through. Everyone has their own separate issues that they're going through. So, let's keep it football. I feel like he's just has not been good enough in terms of the footballing wise. There and there, he has been refusing to run. You look at his distance covered from the time that he came into this football thing, especially when he was introduced into the first team, the first couple of years. He showed life. He showed basically, like, he showed commitment. We don't see that anymore, ever since, especially after him getting that huge contract. I think it sums up the club's culture and everything. For a person who comes from our development team, all the way into the first team, and he does not accelerate anything that has to do with the club's culture. In terms of what we expect. Under the Glazers and recently, we know exactly Man United has been rotten anyways. So, he actually exemplifies what has been wrong with the club, in the current standing. So I think we need to clean sweep. We need to clean sweep and get rid of everything. Yeah.
Big up, bro. Big up. Go ahead, Jarvis. About criticism and abuse. Two different things, aren't they?
Yeah, obviously. I agree with all of you when you talk about the abuse. It shouldn't happen. And to be honest, from my perspective, I haven't seen much abuse against Rashford. Maybe I have.
Apparently, like Windy says here, apparently his family, people are getting DMs on the socials, apparently. And there are some racist abuse, but I don't know who these people are. Yeah. You know what I mean? There is all sorts of, the internet's the internet, isn't it?
I think we're being a little bit too generous to ourselves when we're putting our hands up and asking, where is this abuse coming from? I mean, Jarvis, sorry to jump in here, but I just wanted to make that point. I don't think it's necessarily just racial or people DMing his family. I think what Rashford is implying is that the volume is just really loud. The volume and consistency of criticism is really loud, and that it's unfair from his perspective. It's unfair the way he keeps being singled out as quote unquote emblematic of the problems of the club, as Leicester just suggested. I don't necessarily know that this abuse versus just criticism boundary is one that we can credibly or honestly draw. What I would say is that unfortunately for Rashford, quite frankly, or quite simply,
Okay. Let me just come in there 1 second, Sean. Can you give me a statement that's abuse and a statement that's criticism, please? Go.
Yeah, one man's abuse is another man's dirty talk, right? Honestly, it's really what do you mean abuse? When you say somebody is emblematic of all the failures of the club, somebody can hear that and be inspired, and somebody can hear that and feel like you're being unfair to him, right? When you call Rashford an overpaid player, when you question his integrity and his commitment to the club by saying that he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to show up, right? That he's just collecting the paycheck, that could be interpreted from his perspective as abuse.
That's not abuse.
That's why I don't want to
draw. That's not abuse.
No, if you say it's not abuse, that's what I'm saying. One man's abuse is another man's. Like I said,
I genuinely think majority of people. 1 second. I think majority of people know that an abuse is really targeting him and using very much derogatory terms to describe him, this personhood. I think criticizing him on the performance of a football pitch, I think that is.
But I give examples of
all footballers.
His integrity.
Let me finish. All footballers have always been criticized, and I just want to draw some reflection. The most successful footballer in Manchester United history, the guy that's won more medals, more trophies than any other Manchester United in the history of Manchester is Ryan Giggs. And Jarvis will tell you the belters that he was getting, the boos that he would be booed on a regular basis. It would be the stuff that people saying him, get the fuck out of the football club. They'll be effing and blinding him in the stadium. And I was there seeing it with my own two eyes. So it's really interesting. I
think what you're saying there is that the players of that generation are made of stronger stuff than the players.
No, I don't think it's about stronger stuff. I genuinely don't think. Listen. I personally think with him, I think there's a lot of stuff at play. I really think what he did by embarrassing the government and embarrassing the establishment by feeding the children because of his experience as a child, going hungry. I think that robbed a lot of the media, certain aspects of the media, the wrong way because they got a narrative. There's a bits of that to it. But I genuinely think his performance this season have stunk out the place, and every criticism that he's had his way, he deserves. The abuse is totally different.
And I think
criticism on his performance this season has been legitimate criticism.
Yeah, definitely, right? But I'm saying from Rashford's perspective, it's probably very difficult to tease out what is legitimate criticism and what isn't. Because I can see how, from his perspective, he would say that he gets unfairly criticized. So, despite the fact that he deserves criticism, he could feel like he gets unfairly singled out. One. Two, he could feel like people who question his integrity by suggesting that he doesn't want to play anymore for the club and that he's not running because he can't be bothered. He could feel personally attacked by that. Why I don't like what Rashford is saying, personally, I don't like it. I don't like to hear that because I think, one, it comes with the territory, right? You get paid a lot of money. At a certain level, you surrender some things as a celebrity. You just do, right? That's why you have the privileges that come with it. I wouldn't personally abuse him or anything like that. But honestly, it sounds like whining to me. If Rashford is angry, if he's angry, go in the game against Burnley, smack a ball into the back of the net and tell the fans to shut up. That's what you need to do, right? If you're angry against Man City in the FA Cup final, score a goal, tell the fans to shut up. That's all that you need to do. I think what I don't like about it is that it seems like he's trying to insulate himself and to take the role position of a victim in this case, when, as far as I'm concerned, he's not. And I also think fans should be a bit more circumspect about the fact that we might not call him a bastard or names or whatever, but the kind of tantrums and the way we talk about these players, which we feel we're entitled to, for many of them, it could be construed as abuse. And I would defend my right as a fan to abuse the player. And I would also suggest that from the player's perspective, that's why you have £1 million. Go buy £1,000 Beats ear headphones and block your ears if you don't want to hear it, right? Buckle down, play your football, and prove them wrong on the pitch. Stop trying to play the victim. That would be my message to Rashford. Stop complaining. Stop trying to play the victim. I understand how difficult it might be, but quite frankly, nobody wants to hear it. It's like I'm playing literally the smallest violin for Rashford's troubles right now.
Big up. Go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, I think, Rashford, when your form is dropping and your performance is getting worse, people get on your back, and he's starting to be self-aware, self-conscious, reading up on social media and feeling the pressure, like it's sinking in on him, and he's in a bad spiral now at the moment, and it's not getting better. He tried to defend himself, but it only gets worse. And as you say, sometimes, Nuruddin, they won't all love you, but they won't all hate you. It's you have to stay balanced in a way, and Rashford needs to understand this, because sometimes Rashford reminds me of one of those players who believe that it's the club that pays his wages. But you got to remember, Man United have over 1 billion fans worldwide, and it's the fans who provide the club revenue to put money in his pocket. And he should never forget that who supports him financially, it's not the club, it's us fans. And we feel that he is letting us down at the moment. And he's getting paid 350k a week. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure. But no one forced him to be a footballer. He chose it by himself, and this is the responsibility he needs to take, and he needs to step it up and shut down his social media accounts and start delivering on the pitch. That's the only way to fight back. I think Maguire had it far worse than Rashford has ever had it now, and he just kept his head down and kept on fighting for his place, and now he got some revenge, in a way, and everybody talks about Maguire, and respect him for it. So it's about proving it on the pitch. You can't sulk. There's no way around. Yeah,
100%. Big up to you. Yeah, big up. No, 100%. Maguire for me has changed his playing style. Very aggressive. He still can't play halfway for me. That's not his fault. And he shouldn't be on the pitch in Manchester United when to play that football. But our midfield has been the biggest problem. But he's still due to a mistake. But he is the level of he is. I don't think he's Manchester United level. And I think that people signed him, didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And I'm not just saying this now, but to be fair to him, he has what he can do, he has done. And that's the thing. So Bumbaye, quickly, go ahead.
Before Bumbaye comes in, I just want to correct myself. Not £350, it's £300 a week. I see Wendy. She wants...
Correct yourself again. It's actually not £300 a week. If it was, he could get away with this. It's 300,000 a week.
Yeah, 300,000.
You said 300.
Yeah, 300,000 a week. Yeah.
I do more than that, bro. I've got nothing to add. Jarvis brought it home. The boys brought it home. It comes with the territory, bro. You know, you're big money. You're playing shit. It's okay to play shit, but your effort levels have to improve. And you know, you've stuck out like a sore thumb, Marcus. You're much better than this. I think you are anyway. I think looking at some of the players that get the biggest criticism, you know, I still say I'd keep them. I think their form is shit, but they're really good players. But you are not playing anywhere near what you can produce, my friend. So don't sulk. Switch off social media. You're a footballer first and foremost. Go and do your shit on the pitch, man. If it's not going right, put a shift in, and you'll find the criticism will slowly subside. That's it.
Yeah.
How's that for succinct?
Likes it. Listen, big up. Abuse to me is different than criticism on performance. But when you go after people's families, that's where I draw the line, me personally. You know,
yeah,
they've got nothing to do with it.
So nonsense.
They've got nothing to do with it. They have absolutely nothing to do with it.
That's not good.
But yeah, big up to everybody. Love and light. And we'll see you tomorrow for the match reaction, people. Lesso, did you have your say about Rashford? Quickly.
Yeah, with regards to Rashford.
Oh yeah, you already told me. You already said he needs to go. Yeah, he needs to go. You already said.
Yeah.
Everybody's had their say. Big up to you. Listen, this is where we go. Jarvis Cocker Bowley 77. Make sure you check him out Monday night. Jarvis Corner 9 o'clock on MUfC Realist TV. Sean Thomas, how we see things across all geopolitical podcasts, across all the podcast providers. Bumbaye, you'll never see him anywhere other than here. And here we go, the Black Lasagna. Is it? I can never say that.
Every week you butcher that. Black Rain.
Black Rain. There you go.
I mean, what's that Rain. Lasagna? Is that an Italian pasta dish, lasagna?
That's how it is.
Black Rain.
Listen, that's what dyslexia. That's what dyslexia is. Get. If you don't know what dyslexia is, that's dyslexia, people.
Yeah.
I love your dyslexia, man. Keep it up.
No, I'll try and separate the wording.
No, it's all good. No, don't celebrate it. Black Rainer SA, that's what it is. Yeah, Black Rain.
Black Rain SA. Black Rain South Africa, right?
Yeah, Black Rain SA. Yeah, there we go. South Africa. Right, people go and check them out. Love and light. We'll see you for the match reaction. So, cheerio.
Big up everyone.
Big up. Let us know what you think about WILCOX, and are you able to differentiate in the comments between abuse and criticism? I think criticism is fair. We go out and say we stand with the oppressed wherever they are in this world, and we stand up against the oppressors. And we have a massive love and solidarity for all the students in the US putting their bodies on the line and really testing the American Constitution and the First Amendment, and really testing the right to protest in a democracy and what's happening to them, and the amount of abuse, the amount of police overreach and police abuse of students and their professors and faculty, the faculty departments all across. So solidarity with them and love. The people of Gaza, I've just seen a thing that made me really emotional earlier, that the young people in Gaza are really writing little things saying thank you so much to the students. Solidarity is a powerful, powerful thing, human thing. So yeah, love and light to those people in the US putting their bodies on the line and who are basically saying, no, stop the genocide, stop the slaughter of Palestinians. So yeah, beautiful. And actually a lot of those in those universities, a lot of people are Jewish students, which blows apart this kind of anti-Semitism bullshit. which is absolute weapon being used and as a tool, and actually nobody's taking it seriously anymore. And it makes me sad because we need to fight against real anti-Semitism wherever we find it in this world. We need to stand in total solidarity with our Jewish brothers and sisters wherever they are in this world. But equating the state of Israel with Judaism is the biggest anti-Semitism. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Big up, love and light. It's like me now equating the criticism of the state of Israel or Iran or Syria as Islamophobia. No, sorry.
I'll give you a better analogy. It's like saying ISIS is Islam. There you go.
Yeah, no, there you go. Big up, love and light, people. Guys, take care of yourselves. We'll see you to the match reaction tomorrow. Peace, love and light.
Big up, guys.
Peace.
Come on, there, Reds.
Pray for South Africa, guys.
We're praying for South Africa. Pray for South Africa.
In terms of we've got a political problem. You know, next month we all gonna be voting, and it could really get bad this side. You know,
who's the candidates?
It's right now, personally, it's the ANC, it's the EFF, who are about socialism and communism, and then you have it's I don't know who's got a podcast in terms of politics and everything, so we can have this discussion because it's
Sean, you need to get on Sean's podcast.
How we
next
see
time
things.
You need to reach out to him. Yeah, how we see things. Yeah, big up, man. I'm an EFF supporter. I'm sorry, I'm a Pan-African guy. EFF all the way, man. EFF all the way. Yeah.
Oh, the leader, by the way. The leader, by the way, is he's actually from he grew up just down the road from where I originally come from.
Go. Malema. Yeah. Julius Malema. Yes. Big up. Love and light, man. Love and light. Nice one, people. Good night. Pray for South Africa.
Good night, people.
EFF.